Welcome to the Chatting Average. My name is Adam Busak alongside John Lieber, John Sansoni, and gentlemen, a congratulations is in order specifically to Mr. John Sansoni, also to myself, because officially, Mr. Sansoni, you and I are both eligible to be New York Yankees.
Yes! Yes! I'd like to thank the Academy, my mom, my dad, my beard. I did actually shave the neckline today, so I am well maintained. Shout out House Steinbrenner. Now, I'm going on about it, but would you care to explain what exactly makes us now potential New York Yankees, besides my glowing physical acumen?
Well, so Mr. Sansoni, as well as myself, are both members of the Bearded Men of America. And Mr. Lieber, I understand that you're a part-time beard wearer, not currently. The New York Yankees have finally gotten rid of their antiquated no beards policy. The last team in baseball to get rid of the policy. You can have a beard and play baseball for the Yankees. This is huge. This is just a monumental day for the sport of baseball, as far as I'm concerned.
Are you still mocking, John? All right, cool.
He is still mocking. That's correct.
So one of the things that managing partner Hal Steinbrenner mentioned in his press release was that he had conversations with current and future Yankees players, not current and former Yankees players. And
it'd be interesting if he had conversations with future Yankees players.
Hey, Kyle.
He just called up Manny Machado. Like, hey, Manny Machado.
Listen, Kyle Tucker, how important is your beard to your playoff success?
It very much is.
Super
very
important. And I think this was a long time coming. You heard some players talk like, well, I don't think it'll really affect it. But at the end of the day, it's just the Yankees aren't being clean shaven isn't necessarily a sign of professionalism anymore, save for journalism. Shout out John Lieber.
TV journalism specifically.
But it really isn't a sign of like a made man, quote unquote, to use the New Yorker lingo. So it's due time for it. I'm interested to see which Yankee has a beard first. My money's on Devin Williams, considering he shaved it.
Say Devin Williams more than likely.
And then he shaved it. Looked like the Gerber baby. They changed it. He'll probably grow it back. I don't think too many of the other Yankees will do it. I can see like the new guys like Cody Bellinger, maybe Jazz Chisholm and Max Fried let the chin patch grow back.
I think Rodon will grow the beard again.
I was gonna say I'd put money on Rodon.
I hope he does at least. I think his wife very much liked it.
Do you think he'll give him his mojo back?
He will be good at baseball again. Yes.
Here's hoping.
I don't think Aaron Judge will, because he was made in a lab and he is chemically unable to grow facial hair.
He was built in a lab to be a Yankee. Same with when John Birdie was there for a very short period of time, but he was really a Yankee. Utility infielder, like the long cuffed sleeves that are kind of loose, so not really fitted. No gloves, no bands, no tattoos, no facial hair.
Literally looking like Lou Gehrig.
He looks like he's playing like bat and ball game.
Batting stance straight out of the 1930s.
He looks like he's about to,
Well, here comes Birdie from New York. He's batting .302 on the season.
Like he sounds like someone who would have the nickname like the 98th Street Bandit or something. Like some random geographic reference. No one uses it. Like
That's really good.
like it's on like a tiny part of his like monument, like his little Yankees monument out in center field. And
The house in the 93rd Bandit.
every kid in the Bronx is like, Dad, what's that mean? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Number 19's retired, I guess.
Nobody shall stand where John Birdie once stood. This, however, is not a Yankees show. This is a Major
Not a
League
Yankees
Baseball.
pod.
And gentlemen,
Not a Yankees pod.
The Yankees could really use some good, honest journalism. No one talks about the Yankees anymore.
I've been saying that.
Actually, this whole show is about the Yankees. Screw the AL Central. I don't want to talk about them anyway.
Well, we talked about the Yankees not in last episode, but 2 episodes ago when we did a preview of the American League Eastern Division. You can hear that anywhere you get your podcast, but specifically on Spotify or on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts.
It's true.
Wherever you're listening.
God, if you're really good at this, you'd put those like right here.
Wherever you're listening to this episode, you can hear that episode as well. This episode is not an AL East divisional preview. It is an American League divisional preview. And that division is the American League Central. Mr. Lieber, for somebody who is tuning in for the first time and missed our first 2 divisional previews, how do we structure these things?
So these previews work. We're going to go dead last to dead first. In order of last year's finishing, go through the additions, their subtractions, kind of give a little commentary about what we think quickly, and then we'll come back around after we get through that first place finisher, that division winner, and we'll give you our prediction for how it's going to lay out this year. And I bet you I could tell you who everybody has finishing in 5th place in the AL Central.
I think you're probably right that we're going to agree on that. But shall we introduce, first of all, who finished last in the AL Central last year?
Yeah, sure.
Who's introducing?
But normally you do that, and then I read everything.
Oh, hey, my mistake. Honest. That's on me. Ugh. The team that finished last place in the American League Central last year, in fact, the worst team in baseball history, some might say, the Chicago White Sox. Nice hat, Mr. Stansoni.
Thank you. I got it for $10 on Fanatics because everything was on sale.
Dude, I love a good Fanatics sale. Not sponsored by Fanatics, but I love a good Fanatics sale. Mr. Lieber, would you like to tell us about last year's White Sox team?
I would love to. Well, no, I'm just going to tell you about what happened in the offseason.
Okay, well, that's fine, too. You can do whatever you'd like. You have free will.
Major offseason losses. And by major, I mean they were kind of on the team last year. Chris Flexen, Mike Soroka, Dominic Leone, Max Stassi. I don't know. Yoan Moncada, Nicky Lopez, Gavin Sheets. Enyel De Los Santos, Garrett Crochet, and Chucky Robinson. Chucky Robinson mentioned, you say.
Noted Los Angeles Angel.
Whoa. Their acquisitions in the offseason were their number 1 free agency target, Austin Slater, Cam Boozer, Mike Talkman, Matt Thais, Bryce Wilson, Tyler Gilbert, Bobby Dahlback, Josh Rojas, Martin Perez, Omar Narvaez, James Karinchak, Brandon Jury, Joey Gallo, Michael Taylor Swift. We have listed here as their strengths all of their non-roster invites to spring training, which include guys like Joey Gallo, Brandon Drury, Bobby Dahlback,
Michael A. Taylor.
Their weaknesses are holy. John, how far are we into this recording?
10 minutes.
Holy shit. All right. Their breakout candidates, of course, though, are Colson Montgomery. He could be the shortstop of the future in Chicago. It could be very interesting. Sorry, this is my team. I feel normally I let you guys talk first, but am I good to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's your team.
Okay.
Please
go.
Their goal is to not lose 123 games, because that would reset the record. Martin Perez said today, supposedly, that hey, people are saying we're not contenders, but we're contenders. Contenders for what? Getting DFA'd? Anyways.
Contender for the top pick in the MLB draft.
Today, Andrew Benintendi got his hand shattered, so he won't be at the start of the season. He's out 6 to 8 weeks, which means that not one of the non-roster invites probably going to get on that roster, and Joey Gallo, and he'll probably start in left field for the White Sox.
This team. I'm trying to find nice things to say about him. Look, my grandfather grew up on the south side of Chicago. He has been a White Sox fan for his entire life. He doesn't like this team anymore. This is a team that is in the dumps. And you've seen other teams like the Tigers, like the Orioles, like the Astros come down from really low periods and build themselves back up. But a lot of that starts with commitment from the front office and from the ownership. The front office is interesting. Does Chris Getz really gets us? You know, what is that? What is Ethan Katz going to do with that pitching staff? What's Will Venable going to do his first year as a manager?
Unfortunately, no Harvard Westlake guys on the pitching rotation or staff.
Oh, man.
So
they can't show that picture of Max Fried?
Yeah, no more Ethan Katz being good at his job, because the only pitchers who were good under Ethan Katz were the Harvard Westlake guys.
And,
shout out Harvard Westlake.
You also have, a character straight out of a Christmas Carol extra, Jerry Reinsdorf, just kind of sitting at the top. He made Chicago Sports Network, and he's just kind of sitting there at his desk like a villain, like just kind of miserly. It's like twiddling his fingers, thinking about the next way he can get Lenin Sosa not on the 40-man roster. This is a team that will not be good.
I'm sorry. Not getting Lenin Sosa on the 40-man, love it. Take Lenin Sosa, since he's about 3 feet tall, go like this. Same thing with Brian Ramos. I don't care. Bring up Braden Montgomery. Bring up every person that we've traded for in the last 2 years and see what happens.
So that's actually the point that I was going to make is Sansoni, you bring up this concept of teams that have sucked really bad and then successfully kind of rebuilt from that. And I think the Royals and the Orioles are two very good examples of that. The Royals, especially in this division, we'll get to them later in this episode. Unfortunately, in order to go into this kind of suck for 2 or 3 years and come out of it working really well, you have to have commitment to your minor league system. And the way that you commit to your minor league system is bringing prospects in hand over fist. The way you do that is by trading away your major league talent in order to get prospects. Now, I think the White Sox got a very, very good return for Garrett Crochet. But unfortunately, outside of Garrett Crochet, there is no major league talent to speak of. And there hasn't been for 3 or 4 years. They haven't done very well. They haven't done very well in trades in the past. At the last deadline, I think they did very, very poorly. This farm system is not where it needs to be for a team that wants to streamline a rebuild process. And I think this White Sox team might be in the mud for a while as a result of that. It's not fun.
They've got a top 5 ranked farm system. They got 6 prospects in the top 100.
But you wonder how they're going to really get value out of them. Luis Robert has been that kind of prince that was promised for a while, but then he hasn't when he first came up, he was that guy.
He was good in
supposed to be that guy, right? And then he was good in 2021, and it's kind of just been injuries have just been constantly chipping off of him. And besides that, your prospects and the prospects you've acquired, are on an underperforming team, and it's kind of leeching off on them. You see, like Corey Lee, you acquire him from Houston. He gets pushed out of the catcher tandem when Yainer Diaz blows up down in Houston. You acquire him as possibly he didn't blow up, right? His aptitude increased. Yainer Diaz is okay. I think.
Okay, I was worried.
As far as we're aware, Yainer Diaz.
As far as we're aware, the chatting average has learned Yainer Diaz not exploded.
Learned or assumed? I think we're assuming this one.
I don't even remember where I was going with this Yainer Diaz Corey Lee thought. The prospects they've acquired.
I can finish the thought for you. I think where you're going for is that when you have prospects that are coming up right now on a team that had 120 losses, just like they did. In my opinion, winning is a skill, and you have to learn how to win. And I don't think those guys are learning how to win right now. Now, you look at the White Sox Fangraphs page, and as you mentioned, Lieber, there's 6 guys that are ranked in the Fangraphs top 100, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 6 are supposed to be up in some shape or form by the end of this season in the majors.
Who are they?
Sorry. Colson Montgomery ranked 16th overall. Noah Schultz ranked 23rd overall. His ETA is 2027, so he's kind of the odd man out here. But you look at Hagen Smith, the former Arkansas Razorback, 37th overall. Edgar Cuero, 40th overall. Brian Ramos, 61st. Jairo Iriarte, 66th overall. And all of those guys are supposed to be up in some shape or form by the end of this year, at least as projected by Fangraphs. But they don't really have a lot of veterans that teach them how to be on a winning team. And not to, single out Hagen Smith again, but he didn't really do a whole ton when he was at Arkansas, right? You don't just wake up knowing how to win. You have to have somebody show you winning ways, and I'm not sure that the White Sox really have that culture built yet.
Bobby Dahlbeck. No, just kidding. No, I completely agree. If I'm Chris Getz, I look back at last year's deadline and go, I got prospects, but I didn't really get anybody that good, and I got fleeced in every trade. And he needs to realize what went wrong, and his team and him need to realize what went wrong, because you're going to trade Luis Robert at the deadline or even before. You might even trade Andrew Vaughn. If you're smart enough, you're going to trade Benintendi too, because you should not be trying to compete next year. Just an idea. You should go on the whole route of, well, we're the Royals. We're going to kill ourselves for 6 years, and then we're just suddenly going to be good one day. Because, there's not, like you said, there's nothing in this team that is a winning culture. Venable might bring that. He might be good. I don't know. He's never been a manager before, and God forbid the White Sox ever hire anybody with major league experience. But
Tony La Russa?
Because that worked out.
I feel like when you're out of the league for 10 years, it doesn't matter. When the game passed you by when you were managing the last time. But I don't know. I just think that you just need to oddly, they have not committed to the blow up enough for me, which is so odd because I'm a fan. I'd rather see Bobby Dahlbeck standing in center field for the start of the year than Luis Robert. Because Luis Robert, I really hope Luis Robert has a good first month so that they could just trade him then, because he's not going to hold it up until the deadline. He's going to get injured, and I'd rather trade him before he runs down the first base line and grabs his hamstring and tears everything in there for the 5th time in 4 seasons. I don't know. Let's move to the Twins.
Let's do. I was going to say, this conversation right here that we just had is the most time that we will spend on the Chicago White Sox, maybe for the entirety of the remainder of the season.
I don't know. I think we should hold in our pocket one show throughout the year that is just how do you fix the White Sox?
We'll see. We can discuss this later. Moving forward, because we do have to move forward, the team that finished second to last in the AL Central last year, the Minnesota-Minneapolis-St. Paul Twins, City's Twins.
Their major offseason losses: Kyle Farmer, Manuel Margot, Max Kepler, Alex Kirilloff, Caleb Thielbar, Carlos Santana, and Anthony DeScalfani. Their major acquisitions: John, how do you say this name?
Huascar Ynoa.
Thank you. Mike Ford, Diego Cartaya, Harrison Bader, Danny Columbe, I don't know, Carlos Tavares, and Ty France. It doesn't matter. This team is ass. I'm sorry,
John. Come on, man. All right. You know what? No, I'm just gonna start talking about the Twins before I start saying something I'm gonna have to censor.
So really quickly, not to step on either of your feet here, but really quickly, I have a trivia question for you guys, and I will interject with another trivia question later on in the show. But this is one that I came across while I was doing research for this episode, and I want to ask you both because I don't know if you'll know. Alex Kirilloff, former top prospect for the Twins, 26 years old, 27 years old this year, I should say. Where is he now?
Alex Kirilloff. Okay, well.
Major league roster? He should be.
What'd you say?
Is he on a major league roster?
No, he's retired.
He retired.
What? Why?
Too many lower back injuries.
That's correct.
Oh,
He
was
announced his
good.
retirement last offseason. It totally passed me by.
I was thinking about it. I was like,
year?
wasn't he in left field for the Phillies? I'm like, that's the wrong former Twins outfielder.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, where was he?
Yeah. Kirilloff had a very bad case of Byron Buxton syndrome, and as a result of that, he announced his retirement this last offseason. And that brings me to a point that I want to make about this Twins team, which is that they have had all the foundations for a very solid team for a very long time, and none of them have fit together.
Yeah, they like skated by winning the division just because the division was terrible for a few years there. And now that the division is good, sub the White Sox, they found their home in the fourth place spot. I think they probably are in fourth place at the end of this year as well. It's not my official prediction, but probably. But like, they don't do anything in the offseason either. They don't spend money. They're a team that let Joe Mauer play for them for 20 years, and that's it. That's the only person they signed in 20 years. Not signed. They drafted him. Like, they didn't add to his roster whatsoever at any point. There's a reason they could never get past the Yankees.
So
because
that
Joe Mauer was the only guy on the team. That I know that the White Sox front office is so unbelievably inept, but if you look at the rest of the AL Central, the Twins are a close second.
That's actually an interesting point that I wanted to move towards as well, which is that you look at this this Twins team and the offseason acquisitions that they put together. That's like Harrison Bader, Ty France, or those are your major league deals. Like a team that in theory is still supposed to be in their window. And
yeah,
the AL Central, at least in my opinion, has passed them by. But I don't think their front office thinks that yet. If their front office thinks that they can still compete, you got to go out and do more than just Ty France and Harrison Bader. What are you doing?
Well, that's my thing too. Is like they're looking at it to the point where like last year, like they're excited to bring up Brooks Lee. So am I. I'm excited to see what he can do at second base.
Yeah.
Royce Lewis might get more than 3 games consecutively this season. That would be crazy for him to play 3 games and not get injured. Byron Buxton, God knows what that's going to look like. But then it's like, okay, cool. Harrison Bader's their 4th guy listed on their bench right now by Fangraphs. Like Edward Julian is up there, who was really good. And then major league pitchers figured out that you could just throw the ball at him and he'd forget how to hit.
He had a very good start of last year and completely fell off a cliff. But like,
well, it's just the same thing as always.
Yeah, there's intriguing pieces on this team, right? You look at like Royce Lewis, who's still only 25, by the way, and hasn't yet broken out. And he was sneaky bad last year. Like I want him to do good, but like I just don't see the pieces that they have. Carlos Correa, he's been bad since he got there. Like the puzzle pieces they have just don't fit together.
This is a team in a weird spot. This is a team where, you know, you look at the guys they added, like, and they came out early in this process and were like, hey, Ty France is our starting first baseman. Ty France got DFA'd by the Mariners last last season, got picked up by the Reds and was okay, but he also was working on a broken foot the whole season. And
By a
so
Mariners team, by the way, who is historically bad at hitting.
Tyler Locklear started at first base when they let go of him. Do you hear me? Like, and like you look at the rest of this, and it's like, well, now that first base is closed off and second base is Brooks Lee, where does Edward Julian fit? Does he go to DH? Well, why would you put it? Because then you're kind of
Is he not a plus defender too? That's what I don't get on why.
He's actually kind of a minus defender.
He's
not that great. He's a bat first, second baseman. Shout out Tommy LaStella.
I thought he was a plus. I thought he was a plus defender, but
no.
I don't. It's just the weird thing is like I get why they didn't trade people last year, because at the trade deadline they were second in the league or in the division, were they not?
Yeah.
They were in line for a wild card spot, and then everything fell apart all at once. I understand that, but then they went out, like we said, made no acquisitions, no meaningful acquisitions in the offseason. Didn't really get rid of anybody, trade anybody that made sense either. So it's like, if they hit that point in what is it, September again? Not September, August again at the deadline, and they don't trade anybody, what is your goal? Because the goal should not be to finish fourth in the AL Central.
They remind me a lot, and we're going to go across sports here for a second. They remind me of the Steelers, a team that has been so middle of the road and so complacent with being middle of the road that they won't fully commit to a rebuild, and they won't really fully commit to a retool either. So it's really they're just shuffling pieces they already had and kind of bringing in stragglers from everywhere else. Like Diego Cartaya was like a constant, like, he's the next catcher up in Los Angeles. The Dodgers are going to finally bring him up. And then Dalton Rushing got really popular. And they're like, and like Will Smith didn't regress like they thought he would. And Austin Barnes is still on the roster. And they're like, you can have him. And it's like, like, if that's your, like you don't have a marquee signing here. I worry that the Twins are going to waste the talent of some of these young players. Say Royce Lewis really does break out. Say you keep burning service time on Brooks Lee. Simeon Woods Richardson becomes like a bona fide frontline starter for you, for example. You have all these. What happens with Bailey Ober? What happens with some, like what happens with Joe Ryan? You have all of these players on this Twins roster. You can't afford to waste their talent by just letting it ride with pieces you assume are going to be good.
Agreed. Next team.
We shall move forward to the team that finished third in the division last year and a miracle team that made the playoffs, the Detroit Tigers.
Their major offseason losses, Alex. Fido, Akil Badu, where what? And then major acquisitions: Anderson Delgado, Wilmer Flores, Alex Cobb, Gleyber Torres. That's spelled wrong, guys. Tomas Nido, Tommy Canley, Jack Flaherty. Back again, John Brebbia and Andrew Chafin. Alive? What? Andrew Chafin is still in the league?
Yeah. He broke camp with the Twins, didn't make it, got signed by the Tigers on a minor league deal, and he's back.
Yeah, he threw me a baseball once.
Nice.
Because every game he shags BP because it's a warm up.
It's a good thing to do. Doing it. Body movement. Get your juices flowing.
I don't know how I feel about the Tigers.
Going to interject with my second trivia question of the episode that I promised you guys earlier. And this trivia question, I don't want either of you to cheat for, so don't look at Fangraphs, don't look at anything. I have not included this player in our show prep, and I want to ask you guys, can you name the one and only major league free agent that the Detroit Tigers had last season? Well, this offseason, I should clarify. The one and only major league free agent.
Do we know if it's a pitcher or not?
Say that?
Can we know if it's a pitcher or not?
You don't know, but you can ask me.
Is it a pitcher or not?
It is a pitcher.
Okay.
Kenta Maeda.
Oh, Jack
It's
Flaherty.
not
That's the only person they
Maeda.
bought.
It's not Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty came back. He
Um,
was also most
Oh wait,
recently a
you
Dodger.
said wait, I'm sorry. Only what?
Major league free agent.
That they bought? Like that they signed?
No, that was on their team last year and then was a free agent.
Jason Foley.
Not Jason Foley. This guy was once traded for Dansby Swanson.
What is his name?
Heimer Candelario.
I can see him. I can see him in my head.
I have no idea.
The answer is Shelby Miller.
Oh.
The only major league free agent this Tigers team had from last year was Shelby Miller. And that brings me to the point that I want to make about the Tigers, which is that this team has an incredibly low amount of turnover. As good as they were last season, they're going to be just as good this year because they're running everything back. This team has not changed at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I still really like this team. I may surprise some of you. I mean, Dylan Dingler's still on this team, bro. Oh, I'm saying Dylan Dingler. Man.
Don't.
But I think that I know we called it very interesting, very confusing, but like getting Jack Flaherty back, and if you can play like you did in that final month of baseball with Jack Flaherty on your team, it's gonna be very good.
And like think about that. You've got a front two on your rotation of Tarek Skubal and Jack Flaherty.
Skubal just came off a Cy Young, by the way.
Literally, the Cy Young, who has ramped up the velocity. He's one of the hardest throwing lefties in the league. You've got a really young lineup that's full of players, save for Javier Baez. We're going to put him aside for now.
He's not in the lineup.
Get injured. He'll probably get injured. You know, Trey Sweeney is someone you bought from the Dodgers, who they bought from the Yankees, but someone who might finally be who's signed is the right. They bought the rights too.
Yeah.
Someone who they're finally giving him a chance to actually play for a while because those were two franchises that kind of have log jams at shortstop.
Right.
Dylan Dingler, John's favorite catcher. I'm trying not to look at him right now.
You guys aren't going to believe who my favorite kicker in the NFL is.
Justin Henry Malloy at the DH or corner outfield spot. Wenceal Perez got a surprising amount of playing time. I wonder how he's going to perform for him. Gleyber Torres at the Keystone this year. I like this team. They're fun to watch. They have this really interesting identity. Maybe I'm just conflating it because they both got that good at the same time, but it feels a lot like Detroit's really putting this kind of gritty front up both with the Tigers and the Lions. It's like a zoo.
It's a team that matches the ethos of the town.
Exactly.
And that's the reason that everybody loves the Phillies, right? Why can't Detroit be the same way?
I think honestly, my thing is I would compare him to like a poor man's Orioles. Like they're such a young team, but then they've got some pieces that are going to matter a lot that are a little older. And I think I don't know. I really like the Tigers this year. I think the top of the AL Central is going to be interesting.
Yeah, this rotation excites me a lot. I mean, you look at obviously Skubal and Flaherty are your two big names, but Casey Mize, former first overall pick, is your four starter, and he has yet to really have the year that you would have expected out of somebody that was a number one overall pick. But I know that talent's hidden in there somewhere. It's only a matter of time before it comes out. Jackson Jobe, another guy who came up at the very tail end last year and has a lot of talent, can really turn into something, I think, under the tutelage of a Flaherty, under the tutelage of a Skubal, and obviously the pitching coaches that got the best out of both of those guys. I think this rotation is going to surprise some folks.
Yeah, and I really like what they've done in the bullpen as well. going out, getting Brebbia, signing Chafin to the non-roster invite. He'll make the roster. And then Tommy Canley, I know it's not like a lot, but bringing him in. Then you still have to think like you're still going to get Alex Lang back. You're still going to get Alex Cobb back. Like you've got these guys that are coming off of injuries that are going to like bolster your rotation and your bullpen when they get back.
Sawyer Gibson-Long as well. I'm really high on him.
Yeah.
What an awesome name, by the way. I'm sorry. Like Tigers and like a name team, Justin Henry Malloy, Dylan Dingler, Sawyer Gibson-Long,
Jackson Jobe.
Jobe.
Some solid
Casey
names.
Anderson Delgado. Wenceal Perez. These are baseball names, people. These are baseball names. Anyway,
remind me after we're done recording that I got to tell you the awesome name that I came across earlier today. Do we have any final thoughts on the Tigers, or do we want to move forward?
Let's go.
The team that finished second in the AL Central last year, the premier team in the state of Missouri, the Kansas City Royals.
There are major offseason losses. Yuli Gurriel, Tommy Pham, Bill Smith, the pitcher, Garrett Hampson, Adam Frazier, Paul DeYoung, Robbie Grossman, Brady Singer, Jordan Lyles, Nick Anderson. Major offseason acquisition. Jonathan India, Joey Weimer, Kevin Biggio, and Carlos Estevez.
This is a good team.
Great signings. Can we talk about that? Like, they lost some important pieces, I guess. But, like, you get India. Again, going to be great when, Pasquatch gets injured and you have to shuffle around the infield. Kevin Biggio is probably going to be terrible, but, like, I really like.
But he's also a non-roster invite, so it doesn't matter. If he's
not too much on Braves legend Kevin Biggio. Okay, not too much on
that. I really like Carlos Estevez signing. That is a automatic ninth inning guy. Well, who's their nine right now? Who was their ninth inning guy last year?
Yeah, it was Ursig last year. They'll
move Ursig Day. They'll move Ursig Day.
I think they move Ursig to the setup spot, but even if they don't, okay, cool. Whoever you're putting there, you're getting eighth and ninth innings are going to be scoreless. Like that's all you can ask for. Like I'd much rather have two closers on my team than one. Like when Crochet and Liam Hendricks were good in the same season, the White Sox won 90 games because nobody scored. And when Bummer was also good in that same season, nobody scored in 7, 8, 9. Like if you can put that together 5 out of the 7 days of the week, you're beautiful.
What's the last time the Rockies had a really good closer? Was it
Adam Ottavino, 2018-ish? Actually, no, I take that back. That's not true. Ottavino always worked out the 8th inning. Our closer in the 2017 closer was Greg Holland, former Kansas City Royal. And then when he left, they added another former Kansas City Royal. In fact, a guy that was on the same pitching staff as Greg Holland in Wade Davis. And then Wade Davis led the National League in saves in 2018, despite having an ERA over 4.
Anyway, soon to be Seth Halverson. Just wanted to drop that little nugget of Mizzou baseball trivia in there. This I'm excited about this team. I really am. I think, like John said, the losses aren't, they're depth guys. They're guys they added mid-season. India's been getting work in the infield and the outfield. Michael Massey's been doing the same. You're adding more positional flexibility for a team that is still trying to figure out its identity. Bobby Witt Jr. had one of the best seasons for a shortstop maybe ever last year. Fantastic. He is your franchise cornerstone for probably the next decade. At least.
That's what they signed him to.
That's what they signed him to, right? Salvador Perez, he's the captain. He's kind of he's steering the ship.
He's learning how to play first base, which is interesting.
Yeah, but and I guess Freddie Fermin's really been showing you a lot behind the plate. Sure, I don't mind it. Brady Singer. Good.
Right now, yeah. Well, Brady Singer's gone.
Yeah, Brady Singer was part of the Jonathan India trade.
Brady Singer was a
They
good
have-
piece to move for Jonathan. India.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Their
That's
my
current
Walker.
lineup, their current roster, or their current rotation is Paul Raggins, Seth Lugo, Michael Waka, Lorenzen, and Chris Bubic. They actually do have Estevez and Ursig both listed as closers.
I am not quite as bullish on this rotation as I think a lot of people are. And the reason for that is just, I mean, you look at the age of the guys. I mean, Bubic and Reagans are both 27. And obviously, Reagans had a very good last year, a very good second half of the year before that. But I'm not sold as him being a true number one guy in Major League Baseball. I hope he continues to prove me wrong because he seems like a nice enough guy, but to me, that's not a true ace. And then you look at kind of the heart of the rotation in Lugo, Waka, Michael Lorenzen. These are all guys in their mid 30s who you got the best out of last year, 2 years ago. That's fine. But do we really think that Seth Lugo is going to repeat the season that he had last year? Because I don't.
Yeah, I agree. I think
old.
Michael Waka, too.
Is Kyle Wright coming back this year? He should, right? Surgery on October 11th, 2023.
He's working back right now. He might start still just in AAA to build himself back up. He had a shoulder capsule surgery. That's a gnarly one. That'll take some time. It's something he dealt with before the Braves dealt him. So I think he will come up at some point. I expect they might give him that 5 spot and either slide Lorenzen or Bubic back to a long relief. Lorenzen's been doing that.
Bubic
So.
Yeah. I also think you're going to see they'll call some guys up this year. Like Daniel Lynch has been solid in spring training so far.
And he's shown flashes at the major league level.
Yeah. I know Quattrero. How do you say their coach's name? Quattrero? Matt Quattrero?
I don't actually know.
I don't know how you say it. I'm going to go with Matt Quattrero. But he, I know that he said last week, like they're legitimately looking for him to just do what he did last year, do what he did in September, improve a little bit and see if he can run it out for 6 innings. And I don't blame him if that's what they could get from him. And he's shown so far that he's working on it. Like I like him. I think he's an important piece if they can get him up.
I don't disagree, and I think that Alec Marsh kind of falls into that same category. But also, when you're relying on hoping to get 6 solid innings out of Daniel Lynch and Alec Marsh, maybe your rotation isn't as good as people are making it out to be. At least is my overall thought.
Right.
Do we have any final thoughts on the Royals, or shall we jump ship here?
Let's get the guards.
Me when I'm a Pirate.
Yar!
The team that won the American Central last year, the reigning champions of the AL Central, if you will, the Cleveland Guardians. What do we know about the Guardians, Mr. Lieber?
Major off-season losses. Alex Cobb, Matthew Boyd, Eli Morgan, Connor Gillespie, Andres Jimenez, Josh Naylor, Miles Straw, Carlos Cookie Carrasco, James Karinchak. Major off-season acquisitions. Luis L. Ortiz, Spencer Horwitz, Slade Ciccone, Carlos Santana, Paul Sewald, Jacob Junis, and John Means.
I don't mind the players they've lost. I really don't. I think it's a similar boat to the Royals that they just kind of lost depth. You look Carrasco. Carrasco was someone that they kind of just used as an innings eater. James Karinchak was injured and just doesn't really have the life he used to have on his pitches. Miles Straw, enemy of the program, Columbus Clippers legend. He will be working in Double-A for the Blue Jays. Connor Gillespie, Alex Cobb, Matthew Boyd are like 1-year guys you knew probably weren't going to come back. Losing Andres Jimenez hurts. I'll be honest. Platinum glove second baseman That never
And
really
we
came
traded him
around.
away, which was surprising. He didn't
And
walk in free agency or anything like that.
You trade him for Luis Ortiz and Spencer Horwitz, and then you turn and you give Spencer Horwitz to the Pirates. So now all you've got is Luis Ortiz, who's like a fine back-end bullpen. He pretty much just takes Karinchak's spot. Carlos Santana now mans first base, so a bit of a homecoming for him. But you lose Josh Naylor, who, young guy, hampered with injuries, not necessarily in the best shape, at least not where he was. But this is still a team that is relatively competently built. J-Ram is fantastic. David Fry was an all-star last year, kind of tailed off, but he was an all-star. You look at the players you've got, and you're not that upset. Bo Naylor, Big Christmas, John Kenzie Noel, legend of the game, a winner of our Talmadge Wizard Boy LaCroix award for funniest name, right? If memory serves, or no, he won the
He won best
holiday.
He won best holiday
with Jackson Holiday in the league. He won best holiday.
That's true. Jackson Holiday was very bad last year. The positions that you feel are shored up, you feel very good about, right? Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, even Fry to a certain extent. You feel like those are your franchise guys going forward. And I think that's really the strength of this Cleveland team. Yeah. I fear that they might be in a very similar situation in Minnesota, that the competition level has increased very quickly in the Royals, in the Tigers.
They got lucky to win the
kind of a
division
make or break year for them. There's a very good chance that this Guardian team gets passed by.
Yeah, I think they got lucky to win the division last year. The 2024 Talmadge Wizard Boy LaCroix Award winner of the Chatties in 2024 was Heston Kierstad.
Sorry. My apologies to Mr. Kierstad.
Yeah, you should. But yeah, best holiday was won by John Kenzie Noel. I hate the Guardians. However, they did definitely lose the player that I hate the most. So,
upsides and downsides.
And for the boy that I hate the most.
I should not laugh at that.
So dumb.
Oh, that's dumb. Shall we
let's
move into predictions?
I feel like there's not much you have to explain for this one.
It's the White Sox.
What you do have to explain is what we're doing when we talk about predictions.
Oh, no. Okay, yes. So now we're going to go through and make our predictions for how these fold out. And we will keep track of these throughout the year. I've written everything down so far. I know, Adam, you only wrote the winners down last year, but I've gone through and written everything down so far. So.
Oh, sweet.
Huh?
Good
soup.
Good.
John,
Mr.
number 5.
All right. The Chicago White Sox are 5. I don't feel like I really have to say too much about it. They are multiple years away at the very least.
Yeah. The White Sox are bad. They suck. They'll finish last in the division. Probably last in the American League.
All right, so this is going to surprise a lot of you, but I actually have the Royals here. No, I also have the White Sox. John, you're number 4.
I think it's still the Twins. I think this is a team that is 500, maybe slightly under that, and I think this is going to be a good division. But this, they just haven't done enough. They don't have one big thing I can point at and be like, this is what's going to carry them.
Yeah, I look at the Twins as a team that has not improved over the offseason, so there's no reason for me to move them from where they were in last year's standings, which is 4th. So I'm going to agree with you, Mr. Sansoni.
Retweet. Yeah, I don't think they've done enough, and I think it's just another consistent season of not doing anything to maybe possibly beat the Tigers. And like top 3 finish, they could excuse that off, but like another like 4th place finish behind the Tigers is like, do something in the offseason, please.
Yeah, they're going to be faced with some uncomfortable conversations, I think, this offseason.
Yes, sir. John, who's finishing 3rd?
Third? Honestly, I think it's the Guardians. I think the Guardians, and this is less of a bad thing on the part of the Guardians as it is that the Royals and the Tigers are going to be really good. I think they're going to be really good. I think the Guardians might make a run at the wild card like they have. Do I think they might run into the Yankees buzzsaw again? I think the Red Sox are going to win that division. I'm pretty sure I said that, right? I did say that?
Yeah.
I did say that, right?
No.
No?
I lied. I did a little
John has
lying.
the Yankees winning the division.
I'm not revising that. Okay, I think that they'll.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to. So
Anyway, ignore what I just said.
Seeing as they're literally having like a war over who's going to place 3rd base, good luck.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
The Guardians have their 3rd baseman. That still won't be enough. They're 3rd.
I also have the Cleveland Guardians finishing in 3rd. To steal from Mr. Lieber, think that they were lucky to win the division last year. They haven't done enough, I think, to keep up in what has very quickly turned into a surprisingly competitive division. The arms race really is between 2 teams, and I think the Guardians are kind of the odd man out here. It wouldn't shock me to see them snag a wild card spot at the, maybe the last wild card spot, but I don't see this as, a 90-win team. I don't see this as a team that pushes the division.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is an arms race in the AL Central, and Kansas City. What?
Go ahead.
Were you done?
Yes, I was.
Oh. I also have the Guardians. However, I think it's an arms race in the AL Central. The Royals and the Tigers are like America and Russia, and the Guardians are Nepal. They don't have arms.
So that's a very interesting comparison.
See, what? I was gonna try to recover that for you with a joke. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's an arms race. Let me explain.
No. You misunderstand
I heard
me.
that part.
I know what every single one of those words means in sequence. You're the first person to ever put them together like that.
The Royals and the Tigers are America and Russia. Guardians are Nepal. They don't have arms.
What did Nepal do?
They're surrounded by mountains. They're in the mountains. They don't need arms.
They're safe. So why? But the Guardians aren't safe. Their position isn't safe.
Yeah, it's safe in 3rd place because the Twins are going to be so bad they might rival the White Sox.
I don't think that's
not true whatsoever. I don't think that's true. I understand it now. I'm sorry. John, who's your number 2?
Number 2 for me, it's the Tigers. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be really good. I think they took advantage of some really good circumstances. And I think both the Tigers and the next team, the Royals, are going to make the playoffs again. But I think Tigers are just going to slightly lose that edge. I'm really excited to see what AJ Hinch is going to do with this team out in Detroit. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, this is a very good quality team in Detroit. And in Kansas City, it's a really good team as well. I think both of these are playoff teams, and it's not a knock on either of them to say they're not going to win the division. But for me, I have the Royals finishing in 2nd. And for me, the reason comes down to the rotation, right? I think Detroit has a very shored up rotation. I could see a lot of regression coming out of Kansas City this year. And I could be totally wrong about this. But I just think there's a higher propensity for regression in Kansas City. And for that reason, I have them finishing second.
I have the Tigers finishing second, and I think you're insane for thinking that the Royals' starting rotation is going to be worse than the Tigers. Casey Mize and Jackson Jobe could legitimately be the worst pitchers in baseball as they've continuously kind of been. Not really, but like they could not be like Jobe. Does Jobe have major league experience yet? More than 2 games?
Like a little. He pitched at the end of last season.
I'm just worried about that. Is right. I do remember they called him up. That's right. I'm just worried about that. Like, and I feel like they don't have somebody else that's like, oh yeah, once they get back, they'll be fine. If they have to move Jobe to the bullpen, it's like I don't know. I have the Tigers, and I think the Tigers. I don't think it's as close as it was this year. I think it's clear cut. The Royals win 90 to 95 games. The Tigers probably win 87. The other team, the Guardians, probably win 81. The Twins win 76, and the White Sox win 42.
Really quickly, I want to say that if Jackson Jobe doesn't pan out the way that Detroit expects him to, I think the guy that they would yo-yo into that 5th start spot is probably Kenta Maeda.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. Yeah. He pitched. He was the starter. He was a starter last year for him.
Yeah. H, your division winner are the Royals. Do you want to quickly give us a reason why?
Yeah, I like him. I really do. I think that. I like him, John. I like the division winner.
I wonder.
Keep laughing, huh? I'm gonna start talking about Nepal again.
Start yapping. Yeah, keep yapping.
I get that the rotation's old. I don't think they're gonna regress as much as they could. Do I think Seth Lugo might take a step back? Yes. But the good thing about Michael Wacha is that his bread and butter is a breaking ball. You're not losing too much life on his fastball by aging. And you look at the other pitchers in that rotation, I feel all right about it. I think this is going to be an offense-forward team. Maybe Salvi does the same thing Albert Pujols did. Like, oh, I know this is my last year. Let me start all of a sudden remembering how to hit, or maybe taking something that will make him remember how to hit. I think Bobby Witt's going to be fantastic. I really do. I think Jonathan India might reclaim some of his form. He's a great leadoff hitter. Maybe MJ Melendez puts it together. Who knows? Maybe Kevin.
He's got a different swing.
See, maybe
it's looking good.
I'm high on him. I don't think they're going to be back to the Royal Ball days of the early 2010s, but I think they'll be good.
I mean, this to me was a coin flip between the Tigers, between the Royals. I would say that I like the Royals' bats more than I like Detroit's bats, just because you have Bobby Witt in that room. Now, will he repeat the season that he had last year? I hope so. I'm rooting for Bobby Witt. I think he's awesome. I'm a big fan of his, but if we're being realistic, probably not. And then there's a handful of guys like MJ Melendez, Michael Massey, that I'm just not quite sold on yet. But I do think overall the Royals have better bats than the Tigers. For me, this decision just came down to pitching.
Fair enough.
Simple.
Is it time for After Hours Immaculate Grid?
How is it that every time you do a grid, the Braves are on there?
Question, actually.
They know. All right.
Question.
The grid.
What's your question?
The grid, number 697, has column 1, the New York Yankees. Column 2, the New York Mets. Column 3, MVP. Row 1, the Gwinnett Stripers Major League Baseball team. The Los Angeles Dodgers, and played shortstop minimum of 1 game.
What was your question, Adam? You said you had a question, then you just kind of...
I didn't.
Okay. All right. We'll
I
move
don't
on
think I
then.
said that either. I think you're hearing things.
I have a question.
I have a question.
Who said that?
John, you've been recording this by yourself for the last hour. I'm in your walls. I'm in your walls. I'm in your walls. I'm in your walls.
I have a suggestion on the Immaculate Grid.
Sure.
We play that.
Sure.
Dodgers, Metropolitans.
Yeah.
Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Famer, despite the fact that they never played in the Missouri Valley Conference, Curtis Granderson. I was at his Hall of Fame
1%.
induction.
Thoughts on Brendan Ryan for Yankees shortstop?
I'm with it.
Sure.
1%.
Brave Met. Luis Guillorme.
Luis? 2%.
I like it.
I thought it'd be lower. Braves Yankees.
Yankees lose.
Is Mike Ford too uncommon? Mike Ford.
Mike Ford. What are we doing this for?
Braves Yankees.
Mike Ford.
Yeah. Noted mayor.
0.1%.
Zero.
Thoughts on New York Mets shortstop Omar Quintanilla?
I like it.
Sure.
My head went to Ruben Tejada, but I think yours is definitely better.
Do we have
Quintanilla and played on at the same time, and Tejada was already starting.
True. Dodgers Yankees?
No. Dodgers Yankees.
Billy McKinley.
Billy McKinney?
McKinley. No, McKinney. McKinney, you're right.
I know. 0.5. Now we need all the MVPs, brothers.
Well, there's not a ton of.
They had to do it in the same season, right?
Yeah, there's not a ton of Braves MVPs that aren't like going to be like Chipper Jones, Ronald Acuna, Dale Murphy.
Dale Murphy might be the play.
Yeah, do Dale Murphy.
Former Rocky.
For
Man,
Braves,
who's
right?
Jersey guy going?
For Braves MVP, yeah.
16%.
For an MVP, I mean,
Yeah.
Dodgers MVP.
Or
Jackie Robinson.
almost clicked Jackie Bradley Jr.
That is the wrong Jackie.
We need a shortstop MVP. But I prefer
What percentage was Jackie Robinson?
6.
That'll play.
But I prefer we choose somebody who's like not an actual shortstop.
Okay.
So like, can anybody think of a second baseman that's an MVP winner?
do you think did it have to be played in the season of MVP?
Probably not.
What about
when paired with a
Philly,
team, must have played shortstop in a game for that team. When paired with a non-team category, does not need to be in the same season.
What about Mike Schmidt?
Mike?
He played third. I think he also slid over to short a couple times.
Do you want me to put it in?
Mike Schmidt, yeah.
28 on the rarity score.
Yeah.
Good work today.
Hardest spot for today was shared between Braves Mets and Yankees Dodgers.
People don't know ball.
Mike Schmidt was 1%. That saved us because
pretty
Jackie and Dale got us to 22. So
There we go.
great job.
That's a
Great
good round.
success.
That's a good
Great
round.
success.
Successful.
So,
Any
Remember on
thoughts
answers.
before we get out of here?
well, I mean, you're not in the normal spot that you're normally in, Adam.
I'm in a new normal spot. My apartment.
Do you want to
Your new
share
normal.
with the viewers why you're not where you are?
What?
No, he
Why
is
you're
where he
not-
is. Why you're not where you normally are?
That.
Why
Yeah,
are
I
you?
got a new
He already
job.
announced last time that he got a new job.
But you
Yeah,
didn't say where.
I live in Grand Junction now. Work for the Grand Junction Daily Sentinel.
Pennsylvania.
No, Grand Junction,
Oh.
Colorado. It's on the border between Colorado and Utah, but the Colorado side, so the better side.
Do you cover anything in Utah?
No.
Okay, I didn't know. Oh, because it's Grand Junction Sentinel, right? So it's like
Mhm.
just Grand
Yeah,
The
Junction
Daily
team.
Sentinel. That's important. They
The
do it
Daily
daily.
It's important to know that it's the Daily Sentinel because we print twice a week.
God, I love newspaper in the 21st century. Today was his first day.
Yeah.
Well,
How'd it go?
What'd you
It went
do?
well.
Did you
I got a computer. It was nice.
Gave you a computer.
Yeah, it's in my cubicle. I also got a cubicle.
Whoa! Does it have your name on it?
No.
Oh, I'm like really excited that like if / when I get a job that like I'm gonna get like my own like little desk.
Yeah, it's sweet. Well, think about
Like,
how I
oh,
want to decorate it. I haven't thought that far
Funny,
ahead, but I don't know.
I feel
Get
like
some
you
posters
need-
on my wall or something.
You like need to decorate it, or you're gonna go crazy. I
Yeah,
like.
definitely.
So what goes
Maybe
on
I'll
in
buy
Grand
like
Junction?
Maybe I'll buy like a Nerf hoop, a mini Nerf hoop.
Just
how's
that guy.
how's the rest of the crew there?
Haven't met
Yeah.
everyone yet. Get back to me next
enough.
week.
All right, I'll probably just ask you like tomorrow when you go back in.
see. I haven't met with any recruiters yet. I'm not. You know. We're moving on an internship. I probably shouldn't talk too much about it.
Talk to him.
Talk to him.
Anyway, John's meeting with recruiters all the time. Woo!
I did. Oh, guys, I bought a new jacket.
Nice. Is it a nice
$10.
jacket? Ooh.
You saw it last night in the group chat.
Oh yeah, I did.
I
see
wore it on TV last night.
Yeah. I don't watch you on TV. You're not in my market.
Do you guys want me to send it to you? Can I screen
saw
share?
it.
Send me the jacket.
Show you the jacket? Okay,
John,
I'm
if you're
No, no,
listening,
no.
send me your favorite jacket.
Yes, that's right. I'm probably actually. I'm. You know what? Little inside baseball here. I'm probably gonna clip that part about Nepal and post it to Twitter or X, the everything app. So keep your eyes peeled. Keep your. For you video viewers, I'm changing my grip from four seam to.
No, the video viewers can see you.
I'm in the audio.
The audio viewers. We're going from forcing to
And
cut.
that is a long story that should not be shared in a broadcast medium.
My favorite
Should not be shared.
My favorite part of the chatting average was when we did like the video podcast in the middle of Thanksgiving break, and then we came back the week later at school, did the show just on radio, and I went, for you audio listeners,
It's like, who else?
which
Who else?
is all of you.
Yeah. And for the video listeners, how?
How are you hearing pictures? Science
All right,
hasn't,
let's get out of here. I gotta have dinner.
science hasn't
Somebody-
figured that one out yet. All right.
Not my monkeys, not my circus moment today. And then I was like, actually, my monkeys, probably my circus.
I don't know where that came from. This
Who are
was
you
the
talking
chatting average. Thank you for listening. For John Lieber, for John Zansoni, I'm Adam Busak. We will be back next week with the National League Central Divisional Preview. You won't want to miss it. See y'all later.
All right. Good show.